In today's video, I'm gonna walk you through how to accurately price your home so that it sells quickly and for as close to what you list it for as possible. Let's dive right in. My name is Ryan Dossey, and I'm a real estate investor. I'm a real estate agent. I own a direct mail company, a call center, and a real estate brokerage in the space. I'm also co-founder of a franchise that is live in 11 locations. All of that to say, we've done a ton of buying and selling over the years, and I want to help you make sure that you don't list your property and have it sit and sit and sit and have to price drop and price drop and price drop until it sells or until you pull it off the market. Now, this video is primarily geared towards real estate investors, home flippers. However, if you're a real estate agent or even an owner occupant trying to figure out what you should price your place at, this is going to show you how I would do it so it sells quickly. First things first, if you're watching this video after you've already bought a house and remodeled it and trying to figure out what to price it at, we might have kind of got the cart before the horse. The first thing to keep in mind is that we make our money when we buy. We have to get a good deal, and we have to be conservative in what we pay for properties, how much we expect construction to cost, and what we think we can sell the place for. When you're running comps on a home or looking at what similar properties have sold for, the MLS is going to give you the average, mean, median, high, and low values. Typically, what I see real estate investors do is they look at what the highest sale was, and that's kind of what they shoot for. They're like, oh, okay, the average is 250, but this guy got 330. I'm going to go for 330. Just because somebody else set a record doesn't mean that you can equal that record or even break it. Now, to be clear, there are going to be times that you're the guy setting the records. So if you're comfortable, confident, you've got an incredible home and you want to go for it, awesome. I'm a much bigger fan of velocity of capital, like keeping the money moving on to the next project and not getting stuck with something. I'm personally always looking at what the average is on sales price. So if stuff went for 200 to 300, but the average median is coming in right at 250, I'm going to assume that I can probably get 250 for this place. I could push it. I could shoot on the low end, but I'm going to assume that I can get 250. The second thing I do when I'm buying my deals, I budget for doing anything that I think the place realistically needs. So I'm not ignoring the roof that it needs or the knob and tube wiring. My goal with my properties is to have the nicest, cleanest, safest place at the best price point. Now I'm going to show you a real world example of one of these deals here on my computer that came from one of our members in CCF. He listed this place 24 days ago and it's already contingent. Now, when he first listed it, he reached out and was like, hey, will you give this one a once over and just tell me if you think I'm going to lose money on this place or not? So I'm going to walk you through the exercise that I walked him through that you can follow when you're getting ready to list your next project. So let's dive into the nitty gritty. So we've got this property here in Pensacola, Florida. It's a 7-bedroom, 3-bath, 3,000 square feet. Very unique place. It also doesn't have a garage, which kind of stinks as a car guy. I personally wouldn't buy this, but there's going to be somebody that needs kind of those 7 bedrooms, right? If you're running comps, chances are there's not a ton of 7-bedroom places in this area. So I'm going to show you kind of how I would come up for if I think this is appropriately priced or not. Now, one thing to note, real estate agents will often attempt to buy a listing. What that means, they're going to tell you that they think they can actually sell the house for more than they can, hoping that they'll get the listing, and then they'll have to explain, oh, the market, interest rates, whatever excuse they want to use to then get it to more like where it should be appropriately placed. If you can avoid that whole song and dance, it's going to do wonders for you selling your place. The ideal scenario is we price something appropriately and it sells at or below the average days on market in that price point, in that zip code. Kind of brings me to a question that I would ask any real estate agent you're talking to about something you're considering having them list. Hey, what is the average days on market, right? Another thing you can ask them is, what is the average percentage of the sales price versus the list price? Are people having to drop price a ton? When it comes to buying listings, even the agent that sold my last house for me in Florida, when he came out with this wonderful presentation, if you see this, you did a great job, bro. No hard feelings. When he came out, he was like, oh, I think you can get 575 for your house, and kind of like laid out all the comps and stuff. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, bro, I don't think we could get 575. Why don't we just price it at 550? And he goes, oh, thank God. Okay, awesome. Yeah, let's do that. And I'm like, why did we try to price this 25K higher than what we thought it would actually sell at? The property did sell in a respectable amount of time. We really didn't have a ton of offers. There was one couple that came through, liked it, loved it, and they're the people that ended up buying it. At the end of the day, that's kind of all that really matters here. To sell one house, you just have to make one person fall in love with it. Often they might use something like an agent might come in and say, oh, price per square foot here, we can sell this for $500,000. Well, not if nothing in that area is selling for $500,000, right? Similarly, they might say, hey, the other 7-bedroom house went for this crazy amount of money. Well, that could just totally be an outlier. What's the average property moving for in this area that's relatively similar in size? I typically look for about a 20% range. So this place is 3,000 square feet. If I'm looking at comps, I'm looking at stuff that's like within, 80% of that. So I might be down to 2,400. I'm probably not really going up to like 3,600. I hope that helps. So on this particular deal, he's priced at $379K. We can see like relatively clean, remodel. Looks like newer granite countertops, newer appliances, kind of that like light yellow, white. Like this place is it's a very clean looking place. Plenty of parking out front. Overall, like whoever did the photos did a decent job on this one. So what we're going to look at here is the zip code. So 32514. So if we come back to Zillow and we punch in 32514, and I'm going to sort price from low to high. So if we remember, his was 3,000 square feet. So far we're nowhere near that. And we can see like the condition on these, right, is not anywhere near comparable to his listing. We've got a new build. This looks like it's half of this, so like a townhouse. So that's sitting, right? But again, only 1,200 square feet. More townhouses, again, only 1,500 square foot. The kind of person that's going to buy a 3,000 square foot house is not the kind of person that's going to move into, half of a duplex, or even if these aren't connected, have absolutely no space. So as we continue to scroll down, we can see here more small new builds in the 250 price range. Up into the 260s, still 1,300 square feet. Some more of these kind of attached condo things. I feel bad for whoever built these suckers because they don't appear to be selling. And they also increased their price on them, which I think is hilarious. Oh, it's D.R. Horton. That tracks. All right. Scroll through all of their junk. Looks like these are now the insides of some of those. All right. So we're up to 275. Like gross, right? That's not comparable at all. Still at some of these D.R. Horton places. You think they could just do like 2 or 3 listings, not 500 of them. Up to 289, still 1,500 square feet, right? So you can speed up a little bit. 309, but 2,000 square feet. 330, 2,200 square feet. 350, 2,000 square feet. 375, 2,500 square feet, right? Kind of a different style of house. 379, it's a new build. It's only 2,000 square feet. 395, they just cut their price by 45K, so they definitely overpriced. I think I've actually looked at this listing before. Yeah, this place is super funky. I think they went for like retro cool and it just didn't work. Okay. That's going to take a special buyer. So all in all, he's priced on this at 370. I think it was 374.9. So there's really nothing sub 400 that's really anywhere near his in size, let alone the number of baths that there are. So in my opinion, he priced this correctly, and that's why it sold quickly. If he'd tried to price this at 450, would it have sold that quick? Probably not. Would it have sold for 450 in general without a garage? Probably not, is my take. This is a really good example of a home that's a little unconventional, that still pended in a respectable amount of time at a price margin that he has plenty of profit in this because it was priced appropriately, it was remodeled well, and good pictures were taken. I want to check real quick the timeline on this. So in 11 days, he pended at $379. Very, very well done. The last thing that I want to address in this is really this whole concept of like switching agents to sell a place. Maybe I'm wrong. In my opinion, who you work with really isn't going to make or break if something sells, quite like the condition of the property, the quality of the photos, and if it's accurately priced from the get-go or not. Sure, some people might have pocket listings or something, but like historically, open houses don't sell properties. They get you buyer's leads. It's oftentimes why agents will let other brokers hold open houses at their places for that reason, right? They're not really expecting it to bring a buyer, or they'd be there themselves to get both sides of the commission. You can save yourself an absolute ton of heartache and stress by being conservative and realistic on what you price your home at from the get-go. If you follow the framework I laid out for you in this video of trying to price your property where you're the best looking place at the best price point, I promise you it will sell in a decent amount of time without a lot of hassle. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch today's video. Again, my name is Ryan Dossey. Hope that you're having an absolutely great week. If you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe. Talk to you guys next time.